So, first things first, Tiggs, how are you?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
Nice.
What I want to start with is you moved to England when you were 8. Do you have a memory, a musical memory from when you still lived in Tanzania?
Not really, to be fair. I mean, when I moved from Tanzania to London, the only thing I loved at the time was football.
Okay.
So music wasn't even in my mind at that time.
Okay.
But then when I was like 15 and started going back to Tanzania, that's when I really started to take in the music, which was like the African jazz from like the 70s and 60s.
So when you were 15 and you went back, were you still into football?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, Man United is my team. So.
Okay. But did you play?
Yeah. So I used to play football like for my school. I even played semi-professional in England as well. So, yeah.
So when did the turning point come where you decided to focus more on music?
I don't know. Football, it took a lot more money. At the time, I didn't really have a lot of money.
Sure.
And there was a lot of traveling involved that needed to be paid for and stuff like that. And I couldn't keep up with it. And music was so accessible at the time. So, I don't know. All my friends started making music and I just found it cool and fun, easy to do. And all the girls love music, so I thought I need to do this.
Okay, and then was it when you were 15 and went back to Tanzania that you first started making music after you came back from that trip, or?
No, I turned into a fan of music first.
Okay.
It wasn't I just loved music. So whatever I heard, I sort of just became a fan of it. And when I was like 16, that's when I thought, let me, I don't know, write some poetry or something cool.
Sure.
And then slowly but surely, that kind of met in the middle with like the love of music. And then it turned into writing songs.
Okay. So first the music, who did you listen to? Who were you a fan of?
Okay, so in terms of the early times, there was like Dizzy Rascal at the time I was in school. There was Wiley, a lot of the old school grime artists, So Solid Crew and Heartless Crew. They had like a little scene going on. It was very underground at the time, but me and my friends used to kind of listen to that on pirate radio.
Right.
And that's what really got me into music at the beginning. And then once I really got into it, I just started branching out and listening to all sorts of stuff.
And then, like you say, you went back to Tanzania. So what kind of music, how did the music that you heard there influence what you do now?
Because sometimes, you just need to be true to yourself. Once you know who you are, then you'll be able to make the most of the situation. So me going back to Tanzania, it helped me like find myself, like a voice and my background. So I knew that, so there is other people that sound like me out there. Because a lot of the Tanzanian musicians have a unique way of doing things. It's like a very melody, like driven stuff. And that really influenced me. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna be myself in this. And the second I came back, the stuff that I was writing was a little bit different. And when you hear it, you would be able to hear that difference. You'd be like, okay, even though this guy he's grew up in South London, I definitely know there's something else there.
Right.
Yeah.
And did your parents ever play that kind of music at home?
Yeah, my dad was a bass player.
Okay.
He used to play bass and sing in a band. And my mom used to just sing at like weddings and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then what do they think then of what you do now?
I was literally speaking to my mom like 20 minutes ago. And she loves it. She loves it. She's so proud. Every time I send her a video, she'll cry.
Okay. And well, you mentioned that you also started writing some stuff down. So first, why did you? Might sound as a weird question, but why did you start writing thoughts down on paper?
Because at the time I wasn't a very like social person.
Okay.
You know, I didn't have like 100 friends that I spoke to, and even if I spoke to them, there might be certain things that I don't really want to speak about with my friends. So it was a sort of a way for me to escape.
Right.
It was just, okay, let me just write down how I feel, almost like just like a little personal diary.
Right.
And then, yeah, it just turned into something else.
And what kind of things would you write down? Just emotions and that kind of thing, the things you went through?
Yeah, I'd write down, I might touch on some social subjects.
Okay.
So some things might have like a political undertone, or I might just talk about the girl problems that I was having at the time, or my friends were having at the time, you know. So it could be so random, but that shows you where my head was at.
But so once you started kind of connecting it to the music, did you go back to through those entries, kind of those diary entries, and look, oh, I can use this for a song, and I can use this for a song?
The weirdest part is I always remember it up here.
Okay.
So I could write something yesterday, and I can throw away the paper, and I'll know exactly what I wrote.
Okay.
So I've stored everything in my brain. So, and yes, of course, I always go back to that. Even like when I come to writing songs, if it helps me out to know what concept I want to put in place, because I know I've got an opinion on this situation already. So this is going to be easy for me to write a song.
In that sense, is it important for you to have a political element to some of your songs?
I mean, with me, I just look at things like music is just a way, it's an art, it's a form of expression. So I feel like I'm irrelevant if I don't speak about the things that are on my mind. And sometimes there's things going on in the world, and I feel like, if I'm not speaking about it, then why am I even making music? Like, if my whole purpose is to create awareness on a certain subject, whatever's going on. So, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where you might hear something political from me one day, and then the next day I'm talking about dancing with a girl.
Sure.
That's just me, man.